What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. MLB. So first game is the New York Yankees versus the Cleveland Guardians. So the Yankees have a 46.1% chance to win, and the Guardians have a 53.9% chance to win. This is at Cleveland, and for our pitchers, we have Warren for the Yankees with an ERA of 5.17 and a WHIP of 1.4. And for Guardians, we have Bibby, who has an ERA of 5.85 and a WHIP of 1.5. So, you know, pitching for ERA, ERA is not great for either pitcher. So, this could be a hitter's game. And so, with that, taking that into account, with home field advantage, I think Cleveland beats the I think Cleveland beats New York tomorrow. And let's see, San Diego Padres versus Detroit Tigers. So this could be a really good game. So Padres have a 49.9% chance to win, and Tigers have a 50.1% chance to win. This is at Detroit. And for our pitchers, Pivetta for the Padres has an ERA of 1.57 and a WHIP of .83. And Flaherty for the Tigers has an ERA of 2.53 and a WHIP of 1.08. So both have good ERAs. Like these are both good pitchers based on numbers. Now the advantage is definitely, I think, in favor of the Padres, since it's about a 1 point difference as far as ERA. And even though it's at Detroit, and home field advantage should help the Tigers some. I think with the pitching advantage, I think the Padres beat the Tigers. All right, Seattle Mariners versus Boston Red Sox. So the Mariners have a 57% chance to win, and the Red Sox have a 43% chance to win. This is at Boston. And for pitchers, Miller for the Mariners has an ERA of 3.43 and a WHIP of 1.33. And Bello for the Red Sox doesn't have anything listed. So this is like his first time pitching, or he hasn't pitched enough to record any stats. So that could be interesting. It's not, I mean, Bello's not a pitcher that I'm extremely familiar with, so I can't say too much how well he'll do. But with the numbers that, Miller has, it seems to be different. 3.43 is a decent like ERA. So yeah, I think with the lack of information about Bello, that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in the Red Sox this for tomorrow. So I think the Mariners beat the Red Sox tomorrow. All right, New York Mets versus Philadelphia Phillies. So the Phillies have a 56.3% chance to win, and the Mets have a 43.7% chance to win. For pitchers, Sanchez for the Phillies has an ERA of 2.96 and a WHIP of 1.15. And Canning for the Mets has an ERA of 3.43 and a WHIP of 1.33. So both, they're around three. Their ERAs around three. Their WHIPs are pretty close. So, this could be a good game. I think with home field advantage, I think the Mets beat the Phillies tomorrow. All right. Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Chicago Cubs. So Dodgers have a 39.3% chance to win. The Cubs have a 60.7% chance to win. This is at Chicago. So for our pitchers, May for the Dodgers has the ERA of 1.06 and a WHIP of .76. And Imananga for the Cubs has the ERA of 2.22 and a WHIP of .99. So both are good pitchers. They both have good numbers right now. And, this is at Chicago, so that should help. This could be interesting. Like, Cubs do have a decent chance to win, but I think with how big of the ERA difference I'm seeing, I think like, far as pitchers go, I think the Dodgers will beat the Cubs tomorrow. All right, Milwaukee Brewers versus the San Francisco Giants. So Brewers have a 48.2% chance to win. The Giants have a 51.8% chance to win. So This is at San Francisco. And for our pitchers, uh, Quintana for the Brewers has an ERA of .71 and a WHIP of .87, and Hicks has an ERA of 6.04 and a WHIP of 1.39. So yeah, pitching's very much in favor of the Brewers with those kind of numbers. And like I don't even, like how in the world are the Giants favored in this with that kind of pitching? Like an ERA of like 6, basically it's 6. I'm like that should not have a team be favored unless the other team also is a really bad pitcher, which by numbers, the Brewers are a lot better off in pitching tomorrow than the Giants. So even though it's at San Francisco, I think the Brewers beat the Giants tomorrow. NBA playoffs, round one, uh, games two to tomorrow for all the series that have games tomorrow. So first game, the Indiana Pacers versus the Milwaukee Bucks. So Pacers have a 60.7% chance to win. The Bucks have a 39.3% chance to win. This is at Indiana, and due to how good like the Pacers have been playing. I mean, both teams I think are decently close in rankings, but like how the Pacers have played and that it's home field, well, home court advantage for them. I think the Pacers beat the Bucks tomorrow. All right, Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Memphis Grizzlies. So yeah, you have the 8 seed versus 1 seed. So this is at OKC, so obviously the Thunder are the 1 seed. So OKC is a 79.3% chance to win, and the Grizzlies have a 20.7% chance to win. Yeah, I mean, upsets do happen. Not necessarily when you have like a what is it, 5 round like matchup, you know, the maximum. But at least for this round, I can't. I know it gets to 7. I think by the time you get to like the conference finals, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, so I think with the home field advantage, with how well the Thunder's played, I think the Thunder beats the Grizzlies tomorrow. All right, Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Los Angeles Lakers. So yeah, Lakers didn't play well last in game one. Yeah, that was embarrassing for them at LA, and of course tomorrow's game's at LA too. I think I think it's gonna be a repeat. Like I think the Timberwolves are gonna come in, play harder, and the Lakers will mosey on through the game and lose. So yeah, Timberwolves beat the Lakers tomorrow. College baseball. So first game is Louisville versus Kentucky. So I don't know if this one's at Kentucky or if it's like a neutral site game. Because like some like in-state rivalries, you do have your neutral sites. At times, like Georgia Tech, they have to Truist Park for game three of. Anyway, so I don't know if this is at Kentucky or at Louisville, but so Louisville is ranked 19, Kentucky's unranked. They both have decent records. I think how Louisville's play. I think Louisville beats Kentucky tomorrow. All right, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. So this is one that does not count towards like conference record because it's a midweek. Basically, it's a non-conference game between two SEC teams. Like there are other schools that do something like that. And this one, I like this. So this one's I play on neutral site stadium, and I believe it's Pearl, Mississippi, is where they're playing at tomorrow for the Governor's Cup game. So they'll be playing there. Ole Miss is ranked 23. Mississippi State's unranked. Both are playing well. So this could be a very interesting matchup. I think that Ole Miss beats Mississippi State tomorrow to win the Governor's Cup. All right. Clemson versus Georgia. So yeah, this is a big one. Top 10, Georgia at 10, Clemson at 2. So this is a big time matchup. And Clemson, I believe, is pretty close to the Georgia border. Like it's not too far of a drive between Athens and Clemson. So yeah, this could be like a pretty good matchup. I think that like with the home field advantage, I think Clemson beats Georgia tomorrow. All right. Georgia Tech versus Auburn. So yeah. So Auburn's 11, Georgia Tech is 24. Guess losing to an unranked Miami will do that to you. So basically, like this is at Auburn, and while Auburn stadiums for baseball is looking at the same kind of effect as the football stadium. There's still gonna be some home field advantage for Auburn, and I think they will uh beat Tech tomorrow. All right, UC Irvine, UCLA. So, UC Irvine's not a school I'm too familiar with. I mean, I know they're ranked 12 in the nation. UCLA is at 15. So, both are in California. And it's at UC Irvine, but, there might be more UCLA people there than UC Irvine people there, like as far as, fans go. I mean, sometimes it happens. We have these big schools and little schools. Sometimes the small schools, if they're playing the big schools, you might see like their own students, wear costumes and stuff for the basically someone else. Like it happens, and that could happen to UC Irvine tomorrow in regards to UCLA. So, and it could be basically almost like a home game for UCLA, even though if it's at UC Irvine. So this could be an interesting game. I think with like midweeks, you get a lot of your upsets. You get a lot of schools that may not care as much about midweeks, which is why they put their worst starting pitchers on midweeks. Like basically, unless it's like a Governor's Cup like game, like with Ole Miss and Mississippi State, a lot of teams don't care about midweeks too much. But this could still be interesting, and I think despite the potential like home field advantage being taken away, I think UC Irvine beats UCLA tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.